Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have such a special treat for you all. So many people ask me, what's the one thing that I would do if I could just have this one tool, what would it be, or one tip? And I always say it's meditation. It's the most powerful thing that's really helped transform my health and my life and led me to where I am today. And I have brought in today my meditation teacher, Tom Cronin. So thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here.
As you guys know, meditation's such a huge part of my life, and Tom taught myself and my husband, and he also married us, even though it's not a celebrant, but we had a celebrant there as well. And for me, meditation has really pulled me out of the darkest place that I have ever been in my life. I totally credit meditation for where I am today. And, I used to have depression and anxiety and panic attacks. And today we're going to talk about the 3 biggest myths around meditation. And you guys have shared these with me, so Tom's going to debunk all of those, and we've got a really special surprise for you at the end of the call. So tell us a little bit about the 3 common myths that everyone comes to you with.
Well, firstly, what I might do, Mel, is come back to my story, because I noticed when you were talking that we actually have a lot of parallels in where we were and where we got to by using meditation. And I also suffered from a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, a lot of panic attacks many years ago prior to meditation. And I tried many different techniques to try to overcome those, disabilities of some sort. And it wasn't until I actually found this particular style of meditation that my life totally changed. I found that the depression and the anxiety just went away, and I continued on having an incredibly successful job, which I was really struggling with at the time. And it was really meditation that was the key to living the most amazing life that I'm living today. And that's why I teach it, because I know inherently everyone can meditate, you can meditate. It's just a matter of what meditation you're doing and what are the limitations you have around meditation. Excuse me. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. There's 3 main objections people have around meditation. And the first one is that meditation's about not having a thought. Well, this is something that a lot of people think, I'll get a lot of people coming up to me saying, there's no way I could meditate because there's just too many thoughts in my head. Or they also say, I tried meditation and I just had so many thoughts, I just obviously can't do it.
And then a lot of my tribe say that to me as well. They just say, I can't do it, Mel, there's so many thoughts going on and I can't quieten them. So what do we do in that situation?
Firstly, we have to understand that meditation is not about having no thoughts, and it's not about getting some sort of esoteric spiritual experience. The body is very much involved in your meditation practice, and there's very few meditation teachings that incorporate the understanding of the body's involvement in your meditation practice. So in meditation, no matter what meditation you're doing, if you're starting to quieten your mind down, then your physiology, which is a printout of your mind, will also start to quieten down and move into deeper states of metabolic rest. Now, what's the natural inclination for the body when it moves into deeper states of rest? Is to reorganize itself, is to repair, restore balance, and reorganize itself. And this process of reorganizing itself is actually action. And action will stimulate the nervous system, stimulate the body, and of course, it will stimulate the mind as well. So those moments when you're lying in bed at night and you're starting to fall asleep and you get the twitch and your body will have that little jolt. And I'm sure most of you get that. What is actually happening there is the same process as we move into the deeper states in meditation. What's happening there is the body's natural intelligence to reorganize and release stress.
Wow.
And so what happens there is that you're raising your metabolic state, coming out of that level of rest in that jolt and spasm, and that's the body's way naturally to reorganize itself. So effectively you're switching from sympathetic nervous system mode to parasympathetic nervous system mode, so out of the fight-flight response and into the rest and digest. And it's here that all the healing goes on, and that's where, for me personally and for Mel, where we just naturally healed ourselves through our own intelligence of the depression, of the anxiety, of the panic attacks. Your body knows what to do. And so you're going to have thoughts during the meditation because there's a natural process of de-exciting the mind and de-exciting the body, unlocking stress, reorganizing That stimulates the body and it will stimulate the mind. And before you know it, you're going to be back to having thoughts again. Thoughts in meditation, ironically, can indicate you're actually having a really good meditation and that a lot of things are going on in your physiology in that reorganizational process. So the body is really important with our meditation. We recognize its role and how it plays out during our meditation. It will play out in the meditation process.
I remember when I first started meditating many years ago, when you taught me, I would sit there and I would have all of these thoughts and I'd be like, oh, I may as well give up. I may as well give up. It's not working. But it's so beautiful and affirming and reassuring to know that they are part of the process.
Yeah,
and it's almost like, as soon as you told me that, I was like, I am normal. I'm not a weirdo. Or because I think a lot of people feel like they're the only ones having the thoughts, but everyone does.
Yeah, look, if you're in a monastery from the age of 8 and you've been meditating for 8 hours a day for 40 years of your life, and you don't have Facebook, you don't have trains to catch, you don't have parties to go to, you don't have rent to pay, then you don't have the same level of stress in your physiology that needs to be released. And so you can stay in that samadhi state, which is that deep stillness, for long periods of time, because their body's not throwing off the stress. You know, they're not getting the jolts and spasms at night because their body doesn't have all that nervous tension. Whereas for us, you like me, we've got stuff in our body that needs to come out because we do live very hectic lives and our body's trying to reorganize. And that's why for us in the lifestyle we live, that we're not going to have meditations where we stay in samadhi for long periods of time. It's just not possible. And so when you recognize that that's okay and this is part of your meditation process, you give yourself a big thumbs up and say, that's all right, it's okay, I'm doing it okay.
And sometimes for me, I have meditations because I follow what you say. I meditate twice a day for 20 minutes. But sometimes there's a lot more thoughts, and then there's other times where it's a lot quieter. So I remember you saying to me not to judge and label one of those as good and one of those as bad. It just is.
Absolutely. We don't want to discriminate between a good meditation and a bad meditation. Some meditations are going to be shallow with lots of thoughts. Some meditations you might start crying, you might feel agitated, you might feel cranky, you might feel fearful. Others you might feel blissful, you might feel ecstatic, you might feel joyful, you might feel lots of love, you might feel erotic. You know, it's going to be different in every meditation. And what we recognize is that it's not for us to decide, it's our body. And so we just get out of the way and just let our body do what it needs to do during its meditation.
And each one is perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's the first big myth. So when we can remove that, it's like, okay, that's cool.
Yep.
I can embrace that. And then the second one is I don't have time. And this is a really big one because look, we're running around like crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, you want me to put aside time to meditate and sit in a chair with my eyes closed. I've just got too many things to do.
Yeah. My to-do list is this long.
Yeah, I've got all these things to tick off. And so this was a big thing for me. I remember when my teacher said 20 minutes morning and evening, I nearly fell off the chair because I thought there's no way I could do that. And, you know, back then I didn't have any kids. I wasn't married. You know, I just was doing very little with my life other than going to work 8 hours a day and then just partying the rest of the time. And I thought there was no way I could get that meditation in. And now I meditate twice a day and have done for 20 years. I'm a film producer, I'm running blogs, I'm writing books, I'm producing online content, I'm traveling the world as keynote speaker, running retreats. I'm doing
You're a dad.
I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm doing 20,000 times more than what I was doing then, and I still get time to meditate. And so what it is, there's a fascinating phenomenon. And the more we, I guess, not the more, but if we surrender a small portion of our day to the stillness, what we're able to do with the rest of the day is remarkable. It will absolutely blow you away. And I came up with a special method called my 72 20-minute method. And it's something that I worked out myself, is that in my day I had 72 20-minute segments. So 72 20-minute pieces of pie that make up my entire day. Now what I allocate those 72 20-minute segments to are all for the same thing, just like you. We're looking for fulfillment. And everything we're doing is for the search for fulfillment. And so what I decided was, if I allocate just 2 out of my 72 to sitting in stillness, I've already found the fulfillment. I produce more serotonin, I produce more oxytocin, I sleep better, so I get more bang for my buck out of my sleep. I get more creative, my relationships flourish, my health flourishes. I have less stress response, which means that I can increase my demands because I'm not having the stress response, which diminishes my demand capacity. So by putting 2 aside out of my 72 and allocating the other 70 for just play and doing the things that I love, then I found that it was just really easy to access those 2 sections of 20 minutes for my meditation. It was really easy to put into my day. And now after 20 years, it still is an integral part of my day, 2 sections of 20 minutes.
And it makes you kind of go, oh, wow, I've still got 70.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's something that I hear all the time is I don't have time. But when you look at it like that, which is a beautiful analogy, it's like, I still have 70. That's heck loads of time to do everything else. And, you know, make it a priority as well.
Absolutely. It's about preferences, and everything that we're doing is a preference. What are you preferring to do over something else? And we all have that choice in each moment. What is my preference? And there's nothing more nourishing for your own well-being. There's nothing more nourishing for your own heart center than to sit in quietness, to sit in meditation, still the mind, and just allow your body to reorganize itself so you start to operate at a higher level. And that's the most important thing, and that's why I find it's very easy to put into my day now.
Yeah, beautiful. And like you said, it's priorities. Like, what are you prioritizing over it? Is it watching 4 hours of TV a night?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or
spending 8 hours in a bar getting drunk, or yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the third one?
Well, the third one is that, and I get this a lot, you know, people ask me when I travel the world what I do for a living. It's generally the first question people ask a guy. And I say I'm a meditation teacher. And a lot of times I hear people say, I tried that once and it just wasn't for me, I couldn't do it. And so what I see is generally a lot of people are putting meditation into one basket. They think there's only one type of meditation. You sit with your legs crossed, your hands in mudra, and you're having no thoughts. And so a lot of people are trying these meditation techniques, and they say if they've done one, then they've tried them all, and therefore it doesn't work for them. So the thing that we really need to shed some light on is that meditation comes under 4 distinct categories. Now there's literally thousands of different types of meditations, but most of them fall under 4 distinct categories. And those categories are concentration, contemplation, chanting, and then transcending. So I'm going to briefly run through those 4 different categories so you have a greater understanding. And this is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of money, because I've been studying meditation for 20 years now. And I spent a lot of time doing a lot of courses, paying a lot of money to discover what's the best one and what's the best way to do it and how do I get the most out of my meditation practice. And so over those 20 years, I'm going to give it to you in about 5 minutes, and it's going to save you so much time and money. So concentration meditation, that's where we sit focusing on one particular thing. And it might be the breath moving through the nostril, the third eye, or it might be a candle, it might be the heart center. But what you're going to do in concentration meditation is you're going to try to force the mind to focus on one thing. Now, the mind's not going to like this. The mind does not enjoy focusing on one thing, just as a 4-year-old boy does not like standing in a corner doing nothing. The mind is seeking charm, and that's why it likes to think. Now, we ask a lot of our mind every day to process 50, 60, 70,000 thoughts. And then to suddenly say to your mind, for 20 minutes, I just want you to focus on one thing now. It's like, dude, what are you doing? This is like torture.
It's like, no way.
Yeah. So if you're in a monastery, in an ashram, and you've been meditating, like I said before, for many hours every day, you can do these meditation techniques a lot more easily than in our lifestyle. It can create some friction and some tension and be quite uncomfortable. And it's why it's very difficult for a lot of people to sustain concentration meditations in today's world. If you're in Tibet in an ashram, a lot more easy to access because you don't have the same level of intellectual processing that you have to go through. Contemplation meditation, that's where we'll be listening to a guided CD, we'll be contemplating an ideal, we'll be doing gratitude. So really what we're doing here is we're allocating time to rearrange our thoughts for a particular outcome. Our thoughts today determine our tomorrow. And so with contemplation meditations, they're beautiful. They're about intention setting, about goal setting, about contemplating ideals like a river, our heart, and really using our thoughts to engineer outcomes. With contemplation meditation, the intention is to always be thinking. So you will be thinking all the way through a contemplation meditation, whether it's someone else talking and you're processing that information, or you're chattering in your mind. but you're organizing those thoughts yourself. But either way, there's still neural activity, and if there's neural activity, there's going to be physiological activity, and you're not going to get the same level of rest that's required to get that deep repair done in the body. Still a beautiful practice. Chanting meditations or mantra meditations, and that's where we're basically saying a chant out loud, and the intention of chanting meditations, it might be like Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Namah Shivaya, and we say these chants over and over again. The Hare Krishnas use Hari Hari Om. So there's lots of different chanting meditations, and again, the idea of a chanting meditation is to continually say something out loud, never to actually go beyond the thinking. So there's still thoughts in chanting meditation. Now, transcending meditations, altogether a very different style of meditation. You use particular sounds, and those sounds, they'll be very short word-like sounds that you repeat over inside your head. What happens is there's a process called entrainment with those sounds. So when the brain's thinking, it's in beta brainwave, and there's various different brainwave frequencies that the brain can move through. And when we say these sounds, the mind sinks into the vibration of those sounds, and it moves the brain down into deeper states and eventually into delta brainwave, which is a very deep meditative state. As the mind moves into this state, it actually transcends thinking altogether. So the mind will spontaneously let go of thinking and spontaneously let go of the mantra, the sound, because it's found something a lot more charming. And that's this pure conscious state, which is incredibly blissful. When the mind accesses this field, it's not so fascinated with the thinking process. And so it's happy to reside in this blissful stillness. And that's where we get that deep level of rest, where the mind's become still, and the body, following suit as a printout of the mind, has become incredibly deep in its restful state. Now, this is what happened to me, was that I had incredible levels of anxiety, depression, insomnia, even agoraphobia, where I couldn't leave the house. Simply all I did was put my body into a deep enough state of rest through the transcending process of meditation. And my body did everything for me. It reorganized itself, produced more serotonin, more oxytocin, more melatonin, reduced the norepinephrine, the cortisol, the adrenaline, and it reorganized and started to operate at a higher level. I didn't have to do anything other than meditate into that transcending state. And that really is the one that I chose. And that was what I was looking for in a meditation. I was looking for something that was going to be fast, that I could fit into my day easily. It was deep, and that I would get beyond the thinking level. That was something that was really one of the big requirements that I was looking for in my meditation. And it was blissful in that I wanted something that was going to be enjoyable. Otherwise, it's really difficult to continually go back to something that's not giving you a nice sensation. And I got a lot of bliss out of that. And finally, one of the characteristics that I think is important with meditation is getting some ongoing support, because a lot of things come up during meditation and in your life, and having some support through that process is really important. And that's what was good to me, was getting some support.
And I love with that technique is you tap into that blissful state, which you don't even know you're doing. It's you can't consciously go, I'm going there. Like you're
That's
just
right.
You're there, and it's so blissful and juicy, and it's like you crave it. Like I know there'll be times where I'm like, I can't wait to meditate, because that juicy, blissful place is like calling my name.
Yeah, I call it the sweet nectar of pure consciousness. It's just a really juicy sweetness that's really nice.
Yeah, it is. It's so beautiful and juicy and sweet, and you wanna go to that place. So what would you suggest for people who are just starting? Like what would you say?
Well, again, there's research that I did, and I went and explored all those different types of meditations. And what I found was that for me personally, this transcending style of meditation was the most accessible, the most enjoyable, and the most potent. It was the most effective. I really wanted to make sure I was getting maximum benefits out of the time I was allocating. And, so that to me personally is the one that worked most for me. It's obviously for you, it's the one that you choose, and it's probably the most practiced styles of meditation in the world today. And, my mission in life is, after recently leaving a very successful career in finance, is to spread this powerful technique across the world, because I know how powerful it is in changing people's lives. I see it every day in the people that I teach.
Beautiful. Wow, there you have it. Those 3 myths completely debunked. So you can't give those excuses anymore of time and, you know, you've tried everything before. So what to from here? Like, where
well,
can
I've got
people
an
go from here?
exciting thing coming up in June, and it's called the Stillness Project. And really, the Stillness Project is my mission to inspire people all around the world to embrace meditation on a daily basis. And we're organising the world's largest meditation event, the Stillness Project, in June. We're going to have over 1 million people meditating together, which is just remarkable.
Wow.
You know, technology gives us access to a world, and it's incredible we can do this. So it's all going to be done through Google Hangout. It's going to be incredible. And after the Stillness Project event, I'm offering the audience this exciting 21-day meditation program. But here's the big juicy thing for you guys, is that Melissa's been asking me about meditation and for you guys a lot. And so I've decided to do something that I didn't think I would do, but I just feel it's so important because Melissa's such a wonderful person, and I know you guys are so awesome as well, that I'd like to give you guys exclusive access to this 21-day meditation program that no one else has been even seen yet. And this is a special one-off for you guys. And you know, when I teach someone to meditate, it's normally around $1,000. But what we're going to do is make it really accessible for you, because I know and it's important. I want this to get out to the world. And so for a very heavily discounted price, and we've got some really yummy bonuses in there as well, you can access this 21-day program. How does that sound?
Amazing. That sounds awesome, and I'm so grateful. I've been trying to get Tom to do this interview with me for so long. He's too busy, you know, giving everyone their meditations, and so he finally was able to come and share this with you today. And it's, like I said, it's such a huge part of my life and my husband's and my family's, and it really has made such a massive difference in my life. I don't think I would be where I am today without it. And I do twice a day, every day. Of course, there's moments where life happens, but you know, that's something that I commit to, and it really has made such a huge impact in my life and in my health and my happiness. I'm so excited for you guys to have the opportunity to get this exclusive offer from Tom and experience this juicy bliss. All you have to do is click below and you can get all of the information. I'm so grateful for you to be here and share this with my beautiful tribe. I know they really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks very much for having me on.
Thank you.
All right.
And we'll see you next time.